You're watching the latest Baseball Prospect Journal draft conversation. Here's your host, Dan Zielinski.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of the Draft Conversation. I'm Dan Zielinski of the Baseball Prospect Journal, and joining me today is Braden Montgomery, a prep outfielder and right-handed pitcher from Mississippi. Braden, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you taking time to speak with me. Again, it's always great to catch up with you. And I guess before we get into it, just for the viewers who aren't familiar with you, maybe haven't watched you play or haven't read stories about you, just can you tell the listeners and potential fan base of either Stanford or a pro team what kind of player you are?
I'm a player that will put in a whole lot of work. So I'll do a lot of work before team practices and stuff, and then afterwards. And so I never let myself fall behind. I've made strides in my game every year from year to year, and I've just kept developing and changing as a player from year in and year out.
Braden's a very humble guy, two-way player, really good off the mound, elite, probably arm strength, and really well-rounded offensively as a switch hitter. But I know when we talked before your season, your goal was to especially work on your pitching side of your game. And I know I saw you at the Super 60 in February, and I thought you looked really impressive, really in all aspects of your game. But how do you feel like your senior season went just overall?
I felt like it went great. We accomplished our goal. We won state, and then we were also placed number one nationally by Baseball America, and I forget the other major publication, but we were able to get state championship rings as well as national championship rings. And so it was good to be able to win that my senior year. It meant a lot.
Yeah, what is that like for you? Obviously, you have aspirations baseball-wise, high school ball, but what is that like for you, just with you and your teammates to have accomplished the state championship and also being the top-ranked team in the country?
Yeah, it's memories I'll never be able to forget, especially with guys on the high school baseball team, because not all those guys go on to play baseball at the next level. So those are kind of like the childhood guys that you get to share a big moment with like that.
For sure. And I know pitching wise, like I said, you talked about wanting to kind of work on your off-speed pitches in the off season leading up to your senior year. I guess, how do you feel like you developed? How do you feel like you did on the mound? Because statistically, you were practically unhittable this year.
I felt like I developed a lot. My off-speed pitches really came into play a lot better. And especially at the draft combine last week, I got to throw off the mound. My off-speed pitches were really good. And it was good to be able to put all the time into developing those secondary pitches and then see how they were growing as compared to last year and seasons before.
I'm curious, what was the draft combine like?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really, really cool experience to be able to surround myself with not only the guys I'd been playing on the circuit with, but also college guys that I was able to hit with. Like I was in a hitting group with Ethan Wilson and Judd Fabian and Justice Thompson, I believe, from North Carolina. And so it was a really cool experience.
What obviously I know you guys, there was games and you went through a bunch of different drills, but kind of what happened behind the scenes? What did people not see just on Twitter or maybe in person or anything like that happened at the draft combine?
Oh, me and the guys would go hang around and ride scooters after time on the field every day, and we'd scan the app or whatever on the phones, just ride scooters around the city. It was really cool to be able to walk around and ride around scooters in the city, just because I don't come from a big city, so there's nothing around me where I can really do that. And so it was cool, fun to hang out with those guys.
Yeah. Did you have any expectations going into the combine? Because obviously it's the first year of it, and I know they had an itinerary, but was there any expectations you had going into the event?
Not really. I just kind of kept the open slate. I knew that MLB and USA Baseball would do a really good job with the events, like they have in events past that I've done, like Breakthrough Series and Dream Series. And so I knew it'd be something fun. And so I just kind of kept my mind open to it and just kind of took in all the information.
I know it was only a week event, but is there something you can take away from that event that can help you in your game?
Yeah, definitely the meetings that I had with different organizations, because all the teams were there, and so they had people from representing every organization, and they met with different players that they wanted to meet with. And so there's meetings were really important to me, and getting to take in the information that they had specific to me and my game. So it was really good.
What has that been like for you to be a high school senior and receiving all this draft interest, talking to scouts, going through the draft process? What's that been like for you to go through this process over the last 6 months to a year?
It's been really cool. Just being able to kind of solidify taking steps towards accomplishing my dream that I've had since I was a little kid. So it's really been cool to be a part of.
Anything surprise you, or maybe I don't want to say catch you off guard, but was there anything that surprised you throughout the draft process that maybe you didn't expect going into it?
I guess I didn't really expect to be in the same room as some GMs. Like at the combine, there were GMs that were in the rooms for the meetings and for certain teams. And I didn't really expect that to happen, I guess. And so that was something really cool.
Is it surreal knowing the draft is only a few days away now?
Yeah, it really is. And it's definitely kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm looking forward to it.
What do scouts, evaluators, what do they tell you about your game? Obviously, you're a guy who's an outfielder, right-handed pitcher, and honestly probably could do either one at the next level. What are scouts telling you potentially about your future position in the major leagues or professional baseball?
Well, different teams see me as different ways. And so they'd really just kind of take their pick on how they feel I would develop best, or I guess would have the highest ceiling with either. And they'll kind of let me know, I guess, what they see in my game. And like I had one meeting where we kind of talked about my swing and what the hitting coaches and the organization kind of broken down about it and what they saw. And so it's really cool to kind of break down my game with those organizations and kind of talk about it and improvements to be made and stuff.
Is there more teams favoring you as a pitcher or outfielder? Or is it kind of a split down the middle?
I'd say there's more favoring me as a hitter, but then there's also teams favoring me as both.
Yeah.
I don't know of many that favor me as a pitcher only, but it's kind of split between a hitter and then both.
Yeah. You're obviously a Stanford commit as well, and I know academics are extremely important to you, strong student as well. What's it been like to obviously be a Stanford commit, but also watch that program have a lot of success here?
It was really cool. I got to go out to the super regional where they played Texas Tech, and it was cool to be able to meet all the guys and talk to the coaches, because I haven't talked to the coaches since I went on my visit in 2019. And so it was good to be able to get out with them and see them face to face. I mean, text messages and phone calls only do so much. And so getting to just see them out there and meet all the guys, they were really cool. And I was able to keep track of them and watch them go through the season and make it to the College World Series. And that's really all you can ask.
What was it about that program and the university, for that matter, that really stood out to you throughout the recruiting process?
It really just presented the whole package. Opportunity outside of baseball with the education piece is huge. The coaching staff is great. I love all the coaches there. The program has had success. They've had players that get in their programming and then get drafted and play well at the next level. And so it was just kind of undeniable. It's in California, and so who doesn't want to go to Cali?
Exactly. Did it make the draft process a little easier knowing you had the Stanford commit kind of in your back pocket throughout this entire time?
Yeah, definitely. I have two really good options, and so I'm just kind of in the middle, and whichever one presents itself as a better opportunity is the one I'll be willing to jump at.
Exactly. Last question, and then I simply have for you is just what has it been like to see your development throughout high school? Obviously, you mature physically, but just to see your development on the field, to go from a guy who was just a freshman in high school to now a guy being looked at as a draft prospect and a potential first, second round pick in this year's draft.
It's been kind of surreal just to kind of take a step back and look at the development I've made. Even just looking at the developments I've made from now since January of 2021 have been just crazy. And then taking a step out and looking at development from my freshman year to the end of my senior year is just, it's like night and day. And so it's just really cool to be able to transform myself in my game like that.
Awesome. Well, Braden, I really appreciate the time and good luck with the draft and having to make that decision between pro ball and Stanford. And thanks again for talking with me, and hopefully we can talk soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.